Alright guys, so I'm on my way to work and this is how much it has rained recently. That whole lane is flooded. December 8th, and it's rained so much that it's flooded. Unbelievable. Hi guys and welcome back. So it is nighttime milking. As you can see, the girls are inside. Today is one of my very last days of being here. We are leaving tomorrow night because it's going to be quite a long car ride. So anyway, getting right into it, I wanted to introduce to you guys the two cows that I had picked out for this video. So right here we have Addie. She is a 2.5-year-old, almost complete brown Swiss. I think she's like a 16th Holstein. So she's pretty much a brown Swiss. She is about 3 months from calving. I'll show you guys her bag. So you can see she's starting on a little udder there. If you've seen any of my previous videos, I did one, I don't know, like 3 or 4 videos ago where I introduced my personal cow to you guys who is here. This actually is her calf. You can probably tell by how like ginormous she is. She is extremely tall. I don't know if I get a better angle, you can tell how much taller than this other calf she is. But for a 2.5-year-old heifer, she is extremely big, so she's probably going to be a giant, just like her mother. So that is Addie. The other girl I wanted to show you is obviously all the way at the other end. You can see we've got our sawdust in here already because the girls are going to be staying in tonight. It's a little chilly. It's about 30 degrees. They could go out, but it's just nicer to have them stay in at night so we know they're not out on the pad. If it gets icy, they're not slipping or anything. Plus, they really like it in here. They don't mind. So this is Greta. She must be 7 by now, I would imagine. I'm not really sure. She's either 7 or 8. Crazy thing about Greta is actually what kind of cow she is. So she is a Guernsey Charolais cross. And I know that sounds like the craziest thing ever. She is one of the best milkers in the barn. She has an amazing udder. Only about a month from drying off right now, so she's not giving much now. But she has just the most beautiful udder when she calves and just gives a ton of milk, has a great disposition. She is a little too smart and curious for her own good, but I think that comes from the beef. But yeah, so that's probably one of the strangest crosses we have right now. We did actually one time have a lineback Texas Longhorn cross. Mean is all get out, but that cow also milked just like unbelievable. She gave like 100 pounds when she freshened. She was a great cow. She did get old and pass away. So Greta is probably the weirdest cross we have now. So what this video is going to be about, when I was cleaning out the medicine cabinet the other day, I got thinking that maybe I should show you guys just some of the things that we keep on hand on our small dairy farm, just to treat some very common things that dairy cows will come down with, or even beef cows could come down with some of these things. So I just wanted to show you guys some of the things that we keep in our medicine cabinet. So starting right off, we always keep some CMPK solution, which is for milk fever. We do like to keep quite a bit of this on hand just because we do milk a lot of older cows, and we also have a lot of Jerseys. And Jerseys are the most prone to milk fever, but so are older cows. So we just keep a lot of that on hand. We don't really have severe cases of it, but we will have like a slight case of it that we can just treat by giving it to them under the skin. We do call the vet if we have to give it to them in the vein because it's a very delicate process, and giving it to them too fast, you can kill them. So we do have the vet do it if it's a very severe case, but I think we only had like 1 case last year that we actually had to call the vet for, so it does not happen very often, but we do like to have it on hand. So right next to that we have some sterile water, and that is just to mix with some of the different drugs that the vet will give us. Things like Naxel, they come in a powdered form and you have to mix them with sterile water. But you can see we have 3 of those, so we don't use that very often either, and there's cobwebs on all of them, so we don't use that very often. And then up on this shelf we have some California mastitis test. That is very old. We have not used that stuff in a long time just because we don't have a lot of cases of mastitis because we don't push our cows with silage or anything. So the only reason a cow would probably come down with mastitis is either she's just a plain dirty cow that likes to lay in her own crap, or possibly another cow bumps her and she gets it from her udder swelling or something. So we don't use that very often, but we do keep it on hand just in case. And we also have one of these paddles that you test with. So we have that just in case. Up here we have some rumen magnets because we do like to keep at least 2 of those on hand at all times, because feeding round bales, you do pick up a lot of stuff like the side of the road or just in the edge of the field or something. You can pick up some metal or even just baler tines or rake tines. So we do keep magnets on hand at all times just in case a cow does come down with hardware. We can just pop one of those in and catch it in time. We have some calf ear tags here that we do not use anymore because we don't raise calves, obviously. And honestly, if we did raise calves again, I'm not sure I would use them because I don't really like tagging them. I know it probably doesn't hurt them, but I just don't really like doing it. So we have some extra neck chain numbers. We have some extra neck chains because some of the cows here are like 20 years old, and obviously after 20 years the neck chain will wear out, so we do keep some of those on hand. Also, they can break them sometimes catching them on something. They're not extremely strong. So and then we have these nose puller thing here. We have only used this like one time. We just keep it on hand just in case we have a bull that gets out of hand and we have to get rid of him, just so we could load him on the trailer easier if he is crazy. Like I said, we've only used him like maybe one time, but we do have them just in case. We also have some extra clamps for like water hoses and stuff. And then over here we have our mineral oil. So mineral oil is a great thing to keep on hand for beef cows and dairy cows. Are you okay? You got some hay stuck in there or something? Are you okay? Went down the wrong way, I guess. So like I was saying, mineral oil is a great thing to keep on hand for dairy cows or beef cows. We found that in the fall, for some strange reason, we do come down with a couple cases of bloat. I'm not sure if it's something they're eating in the pasture. That's the only thing I can think of that it would be a reason that they would get bloat that time of year. I guess maybe it could be too rich a feed or something. I don't know, but we do get a couple cases of bloat. So we do keep some mineral oil on hand. So how we would treat a case of bloat, a mild case, if we had a severe case we would call the vet, but in all the years I've been here we've only had one case where we had to call the vet, because the vet gave us this really cool system of treating a mild case of bloat. So you will take your mineral oil and you'll give them the, however much the directions on the side says, you'll give them that. And we like to give it to them just in a plastic bottle. I mean, you know what the ounces are on it. And you can fill that right up and pop it right in their mouth without hurting them, because it's plastic and obviously they can't break it, and so that's a really good way to give a cow something. So we just use one of those Pure Leaf bottles. We fill it about probably 3/4 of the way up. You can read your directions on your mineral oil container for that, but we just give them one of those. And then the other thing that he said to give them was a bottle of beer. So apparently it has something to do with like the fermentation in the beer. Like settles their stomach, because you can also give it to them just if they have like an upset stomach and they're not eating or something. You can give them a beer for that as well. But he said that the mineral oil combined with the beer is just like the perfect way to treat bloat. And he was right, because we have never had it be a problem since we've been doing that. If we see even a slight case, we just give them some mineral oil and give them a beer, and by probably half hour to an hour they are completely normal again. So that is a fantastic way to treat bloat, just in case you were wondering. Something else that we always keep on hand is propylene glycol for cases of ketosis. So if a cow is sick and they have like pneumonia or anything that's causing them not to eat, after a while their body will go into ketosis, which most of you will know what that is, because that's like a common dieting thing now. I'm not really sure what happens, but the body starts burning something. I don't know if it's burning just sugar or it's not burning sugar. I don't really know. You don't quote me on any of this. But something happens where the body isn't processing things like it should, and it's very dangerous. But if you give them to this, I believe you can give it to them for 4 days. I don't remember how much it is. I think it's up to 10 ounces for 4 days. That treats it very well. So we always keep some propylene glycol on hand just in case. We always have some anti-diarrhea pills. Obviously, cows can get diarrhea from eating something that they shouldn't be eating, or just anything, so we always keep a case of those on hand. We have some blood stop powder that we've never opened. Isopropyl alcohol, I'm not sure what that's for. High-level vitamin B complex, because the vet informed us that if you have old cows, I guess sometimes their heart maybe isn't operating like it should, or maybe just they're missing something. So vitamin B is a great thing to give an older cow that just seems a little down, or maybe she's got some heart issues. For a couple days you can give them, I believe it's like 10 milliliters or something like that. Great stuff. We always have some of that on hand. So we've got some of that. We always keep some Spectromast because that is our favorite form of mastitis treatment, so we always have a case of that on hand. Up here we have leftover liquid fly treatment. We don't use that anymore because it doesn't seem to work for us, so we just had some leftover stuff there. We'll probably never use that. We have a marker to mark dry cows with, some Blue Coat, and some Allu Shield. Just in case we have a cow that has an open wound or something, we spritz it with some Blue Coat, and then we will spray it with some Allu Shield, which is just like an aerosol aluminum. Great stuff, especially if you dehorn a cow. We had a couple mean cows last year that we did end up having the vet cut their horns off because they were gouging other cows. And he told us to spritz some Blue Coat on there and some Allu Shield, and it would keep the flies away from it and just keep that nice and healthy, so we always keep some of that on hand. I forgot to mention that we do keep a whole package of bandages on hand because they're good for things like hairy wart, or maybe wrapping a foot because the cow has an abscess or something, so that's what we use those for. Something that we do like to do if a cow has an abscess is we will clean it out really well, put some of this drawing salve on it just to keep it nice and clean, and then we will wrap it with a bandage for a few days, and that seems to help things out tremendously. And after a few days you take it off and they are pretty much completely healed. So that's how we treat any abscesses on the bottom of the foot. We don't have cases of hairy wart or foot rot very often, as you can see, because we still have a whole container of those bandages. Something else that is very interesting that we use these bandages for is sometimes when a cow steps on their teat, and I don't mean like they don't rip it completely off, but they just step on it and slice it really good maybe. What we will do is we will take one of these bandages and some Dr. Nailers. We found that Dr. Nailers really works the best. Clean the cutout and clean the teat up really well, and then we will slather it in Dr. Nailers, just like a ton of it. And then we will wrap it pretty tightly with one of these bandages. Leave it on there for a few days. You will have to drain the quarter if it's a milk cow, but you can just stick a drain tube in there. It's going to be hard because the cow goes crazy when you do that, but you will have to drain it for a few days. And usually we take that wrap off and it's just like good as new. We actually do have a cow. She's right up here, I believe. This girl right here, she has actually sliced open both of her front quarters. Pretty bad. She was probably the worst one I've ever seen that came around from it. We wrapped them like that, but both of them milk out completely normal. She doesn't bother her at all. They do have scars, but I mean, she milks out good, so she did heal up from that, which is pretty amazing. Usually you just can't handle them after that. So that's the method we used for her, and it worked really great. That is also something that our vet showed us. So down here we just have some trash bags for the milkroom trash can, an extra small fence charger just in case our big one goes, a fence tester obviously because with cows you can't trust them. We do have a dehorning hot gun. We don't have to do that very often because we don't raise dairy cows and we just have polled beef calves, so we don't use that hardly at all. But something great that we keep on hand all the time is an extra bottle of this white liniment. It's actually for horses, but it works fantastic on a cow's quarter, like if they get bumped by another cow, or maybe they just have a quarter that gets a little swollen and it gets kind of hot. We'll put some of that on there and it just goes down like overnight. That is great stuff. It's called like Radix, like Radix, I don't know. And we also like to keep a case of these Probios pills on hand. They're just like an oral bolus that has like live bacteria in it that's supposed to be good for a cow's gut. Like maybe if you have a sick cow, I think you give them like 4 of these, so we just have those on hand at all times just in case. So that is our medical area. We do also have a bolus gun right here, and a pair of hoof trimmers because we like to do as much of our own hoof trimming as possible. A rope because with cows you should always have a rope on hand at all times, and then obviously our minerals. So yeah, we also do like to keep an extra water bowl valve on hand at all times because they can break very randomly. Yeah, that is our medical cabinet and some of the things that we keep on hand at all times just to treat some very common things that happen to cows, dairy cows and beef cows. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.